in the West Coast Conference. In fact, folks here at the University of San Francisco saying it's the biggest game on campus in a long time. The #1 team in college basketball, the Gonzaga Bulldogs, on the road to take on the Dons, who are having an excellent year in the WCC. So the Zags have clinched the regular season title. San Francisco fighting for a chance for a higher seed in the West Coast Conference, looking to play in the NCAA tournament for the first time in more than 2 decades. They're in great position to do so. If they win tonight, I think they would lock in a spot in the field in the NCAA tournament. Dave Fleming, Sean Farnham, Molly McGrath, great to have you with us. And we know it's a big game in the WCC, despite the fact that the Zags have already clinched the regular season title. Sean, we're getting close to March. What does that mean for you with the #1 Zags?
No, it just means you focus on guard play. I mean, so much of March is how your guard can dictate the tempo and flow of your offense at both ends of the floor. And Andrew Nembhard is a national champion quality guard. And what I mean by that is his understanding of the system and how he needs to execute and how assertive he needs to be for this team to be explosive offensively has evolved as the season's gone on. And you look at the last 8 games, 51 assists to only 7 turnovers. You have the weapons that he has, share the ball, and get others involved, and he's been outstanding.
Meanwhile, senior night here at USF, second to last regular season game for both these teams. Final home game for the Dons. Alan Masalski's had a great year here at USF, part of those senior day festivities. So too was Jamari Bouye. It's part of the reason why we're a little delayed in getting this game started, because those senior day ceremonies went on for so long. That man right there, one of the all-time greats. This program's got a lot of history. He's one of the greatest who's ever played here.
Yeah, look, he had 15 and 11 last time out, first double-double of the season. And it was an emotional senior day for him and for Shabazz, his running mate in the backcourt. They were teared up, they were crying. Senior night's a special night. Now you've got to harness that emotion, though, and you can't let it get the best of you. You got a full house for the first time all season long. You've got senior night. Your family, your friends are here. Molly McGrath is in the building. First time a sideline reporter's been in this building for a game. I mean, it's a big game.
It really is. The series history has been dominated by the Zags. Gonzaga's won 22 straight. Last win for the Dons came back in this building a decade ago in February of 2012. That said, USF competed hard up in Spokane earlier this year. It was a close game most of the way through. And the Zags have had a lot of close calls in the West Coast Conference tournament here in this gym over the last few years against this USF program. The Dons have been a tough matchup for Mark Few's team.
Well, and, you know, you look at Drew Timme out on the floor. Drew Timme's got the handlebar mustache back. Now, that's new. He didn't have the handlebars, and he brought it back. And I asked him, I said, what's going on? Why are we bringing it back? And he goes, I got to see if the handlebars still have the same magic it had a season ago. It's almost time for March. And so he wants to see if it has that same flavor.
So here we go. Really a lot of excitement here on the hilltop for this game. Zags have been #1 here before, but I think Dons fans are feeling like this is a legit chance for their team to pull off the upset and get a win against #1. Gonzaga will have the ball first tonight, and there is Drew Timme. Nembhard, we talked about him as a distributor. He can also be a scorer. Hits the 3.
Well, and that's part of the evolution I talked about, being more aggressive. It's not just being aggressive to find your teammates, but it's understanding when to take the shot, why you need to take the shots, because of how it can open up the flow in the offense for everybody else.
Masalski's going to attack against Timme. Missed the shot, got his own miss, and finishes with the left hand. Man, he's had a really good year. Big, tough guy underneath.
So strong, so physical.
Timme with the spin move against him, and he scores. What a nice move by Drew Timme.
His footwork, we talk about it like it's a broken record, but he has the best footwork of any big in college basketball, and it's not even close.
Came out to help and did a pretty good job of it. Khalil Shabazz been shooting the ball real well lately. Gabe Stefanini also starting to come into his own. He had a 2-year gap between playing games. for a couple different reasons. Finally looking like the player he was in the Ivy League.
Yeah, he got injured, then they canceled the Ivy season, and then he came back, and it's taken him a while to find his rhythm and flow, but he could have a big game tonight, and quite frankly, San Francisco needs him to have one.
Nembhard found Chet Holmgren, who makes the spin move and gets his first bucket of the night.
The key for San Francisco is, can they be disruptive at all against Gonzaga? Because offensively, the Dons can score, and we've seen that. But can they slow down this potent Gonzaga offense?
Foul called against Gonzaga. USF's defensive numbers, metrics, excellent. But it's such a different challenge facing the top scoring team in college basketball. The team that frankly has been the best offensive team in the country for years now.
Yeah, adjusted defensive efficiency, number 21 in the country for San Francisco. But you're going against the number 1 adjusted efficient offense. And so you know that even with as good as you've been on that end of the floor, every possession matters. Every rotation matters. Every time you can keep the ball out of the center of the paint, it matters for USF.
Offensive rebound to the 3 off the missed free throw, but the 3 no good. So the Zags dodged a bullet there. Julian Strother will attack the basket, and he scores. So far, the USF defense having a hard time. And we do welcome those of you who just finished watching Temple and Memphis. Good win for Memphis. Dave Fleming, Sean Farnham, Molly McGrath. Huge game in the WCC. Number 1 Gonzaga on the road against a team that has played like a tournament team all season long. The Dons of USF. San Francisco ball. The big man Tapé hits the 3 from the corner. The big crowd, we figure, is going to be a factor tonight.
Well, and for San Francisco to pull off the upset, they're going to have to knock down their perimeter shot. I think that is the key. Todd Golden will talk about it throughout the course of the game. The coach of San Francisco, very much analytically driven. They love the three-point shot.
Chet Holmgren hits the 3. Tough shot, the big man from the outside, and Gonzaga in the early minutes is not missing.
Chet has been outstanding. I mean, he's been comical as of late with just how good he is. You can take any selection of games, the last 5, last 8, and the numbers look almost identical and the same. And his efficiency in particular from beyond the arc is silly.
Yeah, it's historic. Tapé's going to try another 3. Not that time. Rebound Holmgren, who came down with it, then got fouled from behind by Khalil Shabazz.
Well, the Gonzaga Bulldogs came out on fire right from the start. It was Nembhard on the first possession, dialing it up from 3. And then after that, it's been a collection of all of their stars. The balance that we talk about so often with them, all 5 starters averaging in double figures, all 5 starters finding a way to make an imprint on this game early.
Here's Nembhard into the corner. Strother open 3. And that one goes down. Gonzaga hasn't missed a shot yet.
If they're not missing shots, Dave, they're hard enough to beat when they do miss a couple. But you're not beating them when they're this on fire.
Jamari Bouye, nice dish. Masalski scores plus a foul. We're seeing beautiful offense on both sides.
If you like free-flowing basketball and the flow of going up and down and finding a rhythm, this is a game that you're going to sit back and enjoy. A beautiful job on the dribble penetration, defensive rotations, and a good, strong finish. I mean, look, if you told Todd Golden we'd be 4 minutes in and Gonzaga hasn't missed a shot, he'd be concerned. Instead, he's down 2 possessions.
Yeah. All things considered, I think you're right. Dons are hanging with the Zags. Timmy, 3, in and out. Well, at least it's possible. Of course, they miss a shot and they grab the rebound. Strother, 3, short. Timmy, another offensive board. Bolton will try. He hits the 3.
You cannot give second and third shot opportunities. You have to secure your defensive glass.
Nosalski backdoor Shabazz. Shot was rejected against the backboard by Holmgren. Nembhard lob, but Masalski got a hand on it to knock it out of bounds and send us to our first timeout. What action in the first few minutes.
It's been fantastic. The Zags looking like the number 1 team, playing like it on the road in an outstanding environment on the hilltop.
Welcome to ESPN's Road to Champ Week, presented by Wendy's here in San Francisco. The Dons looking for a monumental win against #1 Gonzaga, down 18-11 here in the first few minutes. Dave Fleming, Sean Farnham, happy to be joined by Molly McGrath. Molly, tonight was senior night for Jamari Bouye, one of the best players in USF history.
Yeah, and Bouye knew tonight would be emotional, saying this last night and this last game in this building will also be the biggest game of his career as the Dons try to take down the #1 team in the country and secure a bid for the NCAA tournament for the first time in over 20 years. You know, he told me he came back for a 5th year for one reason, to get to the tournament. That's a goal he set back in June. He reminds his teammates of it every single day, and he said he's hard on them, reminding them constantly after losses, telling them anything else would be a failure. But he said his team is really confident. They truly believe they can win this game, but they're going to have to play catch up now, guys.
Well, that's because Gonzaga's offense has been just extraordinary in the first 4 minutes of this one.
Dave, they've had 7 trips down to this side of the floor, and they have scored on all 7 times they've been down here.
Timmy against Masalski with the left hand. Timmy right over top.
And remember last year's game he had here?
Yeah.
He was 11 of 12. He scored 28 points in 22 minutes.
So that's 8 possessions and 8 baskets for Gonzaga. Here's Bouye. Truly one of the great players in USF history, and he scores for the first time tonight.
Yeah, he's got to be aggressive. And one of the ways you can kind of slow down Gonzaga, if you can, is to try to assert yourself with a level of aggressiveness that picks up some fouls. In particular, if you can draw fouls and get guys onto the bench, that benefits you.
Anton Watson, I think he traveled, and that is the first possession where Gonzaga doesn't come away with points. It's been a long time since USF has been in the NCAA tournament. Of course, they have an incredible history going back to 3 national titles in the early days of college basketball. The great Bill Russell, Casey Jones. We'll talk about some of that. But Mark Few was an assistant. Arizona was a defending national champion. Last time we've had a West Coast champion. Sean, you were a sophomore at UCLA. Molly, who grew up here in the Bay Area. Bouye lays it in. Molly was 9. So it's been a while.
Molly was 9. That's well before she joined the theater club at St. Ignatius right down the road here, where she was a graduate in 2007, recalling the great WCAL football and lacrosse teams that she had when she was there on campus.
Yeah, homecoming kind of game for Molly McGrath here tonight.
For more than one reason, too. We'll get into the other reason a little bit later on. I mean, Molly, what's it like coming back home and having all the fanfare be around you?
Oh, please. It's about the #1 team in the country and the Dons trying to get to the tournament for the first time in over
Molly.
20 years. But it is nice to see some friendly faces
There you go.
and some people I haven't seen since I was about 9 years old.
Long time, Julian Strother hits the 3. And Gonzaga from the outside in the early minutes. The 5th 3 of the Zags have hit already. Julian Strother's got a couple of them.
I mean, this is crazy. I mean, she went to SI. You live down the street. We'll talk about that a little bit later on.
You grew up in Northern California. Shabazz over the top, hits the 3 with a hand in his face. Good basketball, both sides.
Dave, you watch USF. Tell me, in the early stages of this game, now we did a lot of watch of film before, obviously, we showed up here tonight, but they looked a part of an NCAA tournament.
They really do. The computer numbers definitely agree. I mean, they're in the top 26, 27 of the computer metrics. Wild miss, and Dons come away with the ball. Bouye wanted it out in the open court. Now he'll get it in the half court. But a win tonight would put him in.
Yeah, it erases any level of doubt you could potentially have. And to your point, the metrics absolutely love San Francisco. Now, you're talking about a top 25 net ranking. They have the same number quad 1, quad 2 wins of UCLA.
Yeah, they have good wins. Nemhard travels. Some of them aren't huge name wins, but against good teams.
And then you take a look at the resume, and you see it net ranking out 27. Strength of schedule at 112. Lenardi has them in as the last 4 buys. They got 4 quad 1 wins. Carolina has 1. Lenardi has them as a 10, comfortably in the field. I don't understand it. Look, they got wins, neutral site wins against Davidson, UAB, Fresno State, that's had a very good season, by the way, in the Mountain West. BYU at BYU.
Shabazz comes away with it, flips it up. That was like an alley-oop, I think, and there were too many Dons around, so they couldn't finish at the rim. Here comes Gonzaga. Nolan Hickman. I don't know if he fumbled the ball, lost it. The ball slipped. He threw it out of bounds.
Well, and when we go over the resume, why it's so important to talk about that is because you're talking about a program that's trying to build something special, and Todd Golden has been invested in this to see this program reach that mountaintop, to get back into the NCAA tournament field. And if there's ever a year where some of the mid-major conferences get the benefit of the doubt, it should be this year.
And when you got a player like him, you can go places. Man, Jamari Bouye with a hand in his face makes it a 2-point game. USF has weathered the storm in the early minutes. Now Bouye pokes it away. Shabazz saves it in bounds. 2-on-1. Bouye scores with the left hand.
And it's an 8-0 run for USF. Just the hustle. How about the heart, the competitiveness? The veteran-laden guard tandem is dangerous. That was a travel.
Yeah, he got away with one and scores the bucket to end the run. I think that was a travel.
He's got great footwork. So great that he can travel and still get away with it.
The Zags back up by 2. Jamari Bouye, who's going to be an all-WCC player again this season. Khalil Shabazz also has been playing at a super high level. He's got it now, trying to drive against Nolan Hickman. Kind of steps under and flips one up. Didn't come close.
Degree of difficulty too high on that one.
USF got back. They dictated tempo for most of the game in Spokane. That's another Gonzaga turnover.
That's 4 turnovers for Gonzaga and 0 for San Francisco. I mean, they have done a tremendous job valuing the basketball. And if you're going to try to knock off number 1, you got to value the basketball, and your stars have to show up and show out. And so far, Bouye has been the guy for San Francisco. The heart, the hustle, and the finish at the rim.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's new hot honey chicken sandwich, also available on a biscuit for breakfast at participating U.S. Wendy's. I did not know that was going to be the bed for our billboard lead.
For those of you at home, I mentioned Dave lives so close that he rode his bike to War Memorial today. This is footage. I asked him to do this. I said, put your phone on your bike and just record it. As we can see, by the way, Dave he's all gas, no brakes. I mean, you're weaving in and out of traffic. You're a city bike rider.
Yeah, that guy stopped me there for a second. I love to ride my bike around San Francisco. I live in the neighborhood, so I figure, when am I ever going to have a chance for a college hoops game to ride my bike to work? And I decided to do it tonight.
Oh, it's so awesome. So much fun. And you wore a helmet, too, which I'm proud of.
I wore my helmet. Got to be safe with all the car traffic around. Big night for the Dons here on the Hilltop. One thing about riding your bike to work here, they call it Hilltop for a reason. It was an uphill ride.
You feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
I noticed
now.
You were sweating when you walked in the door.
I'm okay now.
Usually you just sweat because you're working with me.
Yeah, a little nervous energy before the game. Bouye and the Dons. Bouye, that shot was partially blocked. Masalski came away with the ball and then had it poked away.
Couple things that jump off the page to me right now.
Holmgren 3, way too strong.
7 points off of turnovers for USF, 0 for Gonzaga. And Gonzaga has no points in transition. 0 fast break points in this game so far.
Masalski has his shot rejected by Chet Holmgren, who's just become an eraser at the rim for the Zags. What a defensive impact he's had. Anton Watson had his shot blocked on this end. Julian Rishwain, curl, came up short. He thought he was hit. Now Hunter Salas, freshman, out in the open court with some contact finishes.
Well, I'll tell you the problem, though. Rishwain's looking for a foul. Instead, they're going, I got fouled. Where Salas was running down the other end of the floor, going to get 2 points. You got to go immediately to the next play. It's hard. Look, it's frustrating. You feel like you may have got fouled. But you've got to go to the next play immediately, because if you don't, the Zags are scoring.
Dons going to their bench. Josh Coonan in the game. He'll shoot the 3 from the right side, and it goes down. Nemhard so quick on this end, and the answer for Gonzaga. Man, they do it so fast, even off a made basket.
And the defensive transition, by the way, wasn't bad on that play. It's just that Andrew Nemhard sees a seam, and he's like a great tailback. He figures it out and just attacks the gap.
Foul away from the basket. Let's go over to Molly.
Yeah, guys, Todd Golden and the Dons had great energy, especially in that last timeout. Golden talked to his associate coaches, walked over to the huddle, yelling and clapping, firing up his team, saying, we're toe-to-toe with them. We just have to keep up the energy. And he focused a lot on defensive rebounding, limiting those second chance points. And he mentioned, you're limiting them in transition. This is how we stay in the game. But he was upbeat and really positive. This Dons team believes right now.
Shabazz crossover move and hits the jumper with a hand in his face. Shot making on both sides.
He can put you on ice skates. He hits the brakes and just goes in the opposite direction.
Nice play by Josh Coonan to steal it away. Todd Golden, he's a rising star in college basketball. He's
one of the bright young coaches in the country. He's very heavy into the analytics. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the game, but he plays the 2-for-1. It's not just about the shots, but it's about where you're attempting your shots, where you're getting your guys your shots, how you schedule.
Timmy's going to come back in the game. We tip off Saturday, by the way. A chance to remind you, we got great college hoops coming up this weekend in the Big Ten. That'll get us started. Number 4, Purdue, national championship contender for sure, in East Lansing against Michigan State, noon Eastern on ESPN. It'll stream on the app.
It's going to be a great game.
You and I will kind of finish the night, so that'll get it started. And many, many hours later, you and I will have the Zags over in Moraga. Drew Timme just back in the game, scores again.
Will you ride your bike to Moraga?
I think the Bay Bridge is a bit too much for me to tackle with the bike.
It would be awesome if you did, though. I believe in you, Dave.
I'll probably jump in the car for that one. Shabazz got fouled shooting a 3.
Yeah, coming off that screen, Nemhard tried to trail, and then he just hit the brakes, and Nemhard ran into him.
That's Andrew Nemhard's second personal foul.
And they're going to review to make sure it was correctly adjudicated as a 3-point shot. But Shabazz has been great in particular over the last 4 games, averaging close to 20 points per contest. He had 15 points against Gonzaga in the first matchup.
Yeah, he's a guy who makes shots, and early this season he wasn't making shots. This is the player that has been an igniter for USF the last couple of years. Comes from a legendary program, Rainier Beach High School up in Seattle.
He became the 40th athlete in program history to eclipse the 1,000 point mark. Did that on Saturday against Santa Clara.
Perfect on all 3 free throws. Dons don't turn it over. They make their free throws. And Gonzaga may have to survive these next 8 minutes without Andrew Nemhard on the court, with the 2 fouls back on the bench. Hunter Salas spin move, lost it, got it back and scored. What an athlete the freshman is, Hunter Salas.
And for him to go out there and start making some good plays. And I think this is one of the things that you look at for Gonzaga in their national championship hopes is bench production. If guys get into foul trouble, who steps up, who plays and delivers? And you've got 2 freshmen on the floor right now in Hickman and Salas. Those are the ones you're going to rely on. And Anton Watson, you know what he's going to bring underneath.
Yeah, Salas pretty good defense against Bouye. Stefanini tipped it to himself in the corner, and the Dons will reset. Gonzaga's led the whole way. USF has not had a lead yet. With 7 minutes to go, Shabazz is going to try to change that. Does not. Another loose ball. Tape missed it from close range, and Holmgren comes away with a board.
Those are the ones you have to finish. Opportunity right around the rim.
Bolton, a foul on the floor. Not a shooting foul, but a foul against USF. So another timeout here on the Hilltop. Really good game. We figured it would be in the WCC. Gonzaga up by 2. Back here at USF, very entertaining first half so far. Draft Conversations brought to you by State Farm. According to ESPN, Chet Holmgren, the #1 prospect for the upcoming draft, is playing in this game tonight for the Zags.
Yeah, Chet's off to a good start. 5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 block shots, and numerous other shots that he has altered around the rim, in particular on a couple of putbacks. His ability to stretch it from the outside, his rebounding prowess as of late has even improved. I mean, it's why he's moving his way in up that list. I mean, think about this one, Dave. Chet has more blocks this season at now 89 than he has missed shots on the season, which is now 82.
Amazing. That is amazing.
We're almost at March. I mean, just tremendous.
Bolton, tough three, goes down. Roger Bolton, who's fit in so beautifully with this Gonzaga team. That's another made three for the Zags.
And they're looking to double team and get the ball out of the hands of Bouye. Good hustle by Drew Timme, almost into the lap of Adam Morrison.
Two of the all-time greats for the Zags. Adam, who was so memorable his career at Gonzaga, now part of the radio broadcast crew for the Zags, a local crew. Wears his Zags ball cap to every game. Gabe Stefanini double team, and Hickman stole it away, but then led Strother too far. It's out of bounds.
And Julian Strother taking people out in the front row.
Making some friends here at USF. Okay, everybody take inventory. Everybody all right?
Yeah, I'll tell you this, though. The defense that Mark Few has come out of this timeout, and they're looking to apply pressure and trap the guard immediately, has caused some problems for USF. They've got to settle it down here. That was deflected as well.
Yeah, interesting little wrinkle. Nice pass. Tape draws the foul. Shabazz, what a look from near midcourt.
You got to look diagonally over the top here. If you're playing it side to side, you're kind of allowing that length to be disruptive and get deflections. The throw over the top diagonal key. San Francisco's done a great job getting to the free throw line. This will be their 7th free throw attempt so far here in the half. The Zags haven't attempted one.
That's pretty interesting. More Saturday college basketball reminders. 4 Eastern, number 3 Auburn and Knoxville. That'll be a real challenge against top 20 Tennessee. Then Duke goes up to Syracuse in the Carrier Dome to take on the Orange. And at 8 Eastern, number 10 Baylor hosting number 5 Kansas, all on Saturday.
And then after that, it's Gonzaga taking on St. Mary's. 2 ranked teams, 2 teams that have already locked themselves into the NCAA tournament field.
I mean, you were talking about the resume of the Dons. How about the Zags? So many people want to knock their schedule once they get to conference play. This road trip to finish up the regular season on the road, back-to-back weekend games against top 25 computer teams. Shabazz, 3!
And you see why. I mean, look, this Dons team, they just keep making shots, taking shots. They play with freedom. They play with pace. They have multiple weapons out on the floor.
Timme spun and just got right by Tape.
They don't have that guy.
They don't. Not many do. Drew Timme is just such an amazing low post scorer. Got so many moves. Shabazz hesitated. Finds Stefanini. Wow. Julian Strother went flying through the air. Landed right on his backside. And to add insult to injury, got called for the foul.
I want to make sure he's okay. I mean, he is an essential part. It looks like he's going to be. But
that hurts, though.
It does hurt, and that is a dangerous fall. That tells you a lot about how significant this game is. Look, guys are flying around the court trying to make plays, and the pace of this game and the quality of the game. Great shot fake, and then that's a scary one. You get turned upside down and you land on your back like that. You have the danger of hitting your head against the floor, let alone just the tailbone, the bruise.
Yeah, that took his breath away. That took his breath away.
Number 10, Hunter Salas, replaces Julian Strother.
Very important part of this Gonzaga team. 5-point game, 5 minutes to go, first half.
And he's sitting on the floor with a towel over the top of his head right now.
Yeah, dangerous pass. Somehow made its way to Bouye. Bouye had it stripped and it goes out of bounds with 5 to shoot. And Julian Strother, part of it may just be he was spooked a little bit there. He may need a minute just to kind of gather himself. I mean, Mark Few knew how dangerous that was. Yikes. Bouye. No. Holmgren with the rebound. Roger Bolton so quick to the bucket. Timme flies in and he gets fouled. So Drew Timme fouled going for the offensive board.
And Julian Strother is checking back in, so one's going to assume he's okay. But I have no problem with him getting his feet his wind, his mind, all back underneath and being solid, and before he comes back out on the court.
Yeah, great sign for Gonzaga. Now Timmy, another spin move, cut off, but just stuck with it, missed the shot. Rare miss for the Zags, who are close to 75% shooting in this first half. Stefanini, Masalski draws the foul. Holmgren's going to be whistled, I believe. Well, maybe.
I think they got it on Timmy.
Maybe Timmy reached in.
Number 2, Drew Timmy, his first 7th team foul.
That's Timmy's first personal, 7th team foul against the Zags. To your point, Mark Few's team is getting beat at the free throw line in this first half.
And that's the aggressive level of mindset you need to have if you're San Francisco. It also slows down the game a little bit too. I mean, when you're scoring at the free throw line and they're at a standstill, no opportunities. One of the things Gonzaga does a really good job of, and Julian Strother, I think, took this from Joel Ayayi last year. A shot goes up. If he's not in a rebounding position, he knows he can't get it. He'll take 1 or 2 steps to go in the opposite direction. They're looking to throw out and throw ahead.
Masalski missed them both. There have been some times this year when Yawan Masalski, as good as he's been, the free throw shooting can get a little ugly. Chet Holmgren on the attack. Kunin trying to hang with him. Holmgren scores with a foul. Switch to the left hand. Spectacular.
You have to bring help earlier. I mean, when you're watching him drive to the basket like this and you're not offering help, he is a rhythm player. You're allowing him to get to his spot, allowing him to finish the way that he wants to. That is far too easy. If on that spin there's somebody there that closes that door, it makes life a little bit more difficult for Chet Holmgren, and maybe he misses that shot.
Chance for the three-point play. Free throw touch. So nice for a 7-foot freshman. A whole package for Chet Holmgren. Gosh, has he played well, especially as the season's gone on.
Dave, these numbers as of late, last 3 games, he's averaging 13 points, 13 rebounds, 4 block shots. Numbers are even better if you extend them out. His points go up, his rebounds drop a little bit.
Bouye had a good look, missed it. So now the Zags chance to extend their lead. Bolton goes to the bucket. Masalski swatted it away.
Good job by Rich Wayne to corral that and get this possession. This is a big possession.
Shabazz with the shot blocker. There, he went high off the glass.
That was huge in so many ways. Confidence knowing you can score over the top. Great touch.
Holmgren goes backdoor. Strother. No whistle. Loose ball. Bouye. Waiting for his teammates to join. Zane Meeks is a pretty good shooter from the outside. Masalski wants to take it right at Holmgren. Holmgren lost it out of bounds off of USF. And that takes us to a timeout. 3:06 to go first half. Zags with a 6-point lead.
Oh, those are the days when Dejan Giroux was playing for Houston. Dallin and I in the studio with Chris Cotter playing some old Al Giroux. It's good stuff. You know what's also good stuff?
Yeah.
The Zags, 14 of their last 18 points have come in the paint. And so this game was tight. It's a 1-possession game. San Francisco's been fighting every stretch of the way. The Zags and Mark Few have just said basically this. Listen, guys, we're shooting the ball fine. We're 6 of 9 from 3. But you know where our bread and butter is? In the paint. Let's start pounding them there. And that's what they've done over the last couple of minutes.
No pressure from USF. And John said it there, too. I mean, it's just really an entertaining first half. Most people probably haven't seen a whole lot of San Francisco. Dons are a really good team. Lob from Timmy, big man to big man. Holmgren flushes it down.
16 out of the last 20. I wasn't a math major, but I figured that out, Dave.
Shabazz, no. Rishwain, offensive rebound.
That's the 8th offensive rebound for the Dons. They have done a tremendous job on the offensive glass.
Big final 2.5 minutes of this half. USF has played so well. Shabazz scores from the lane.
Just simple, right? You gotta just get to your spot, know where you're comfortable, and figure out a way how you can score. Be on balance, elevate up.
He's got 15 in the first half. Timmy came up short. Good defense that time, Masalski. Maybe a rare chance for the Dons to get a transition bucket. Shabazz steps to the side, in and out, no good. Great look.
That would have been huge.
Holmgren's gonna bring it all the way down.
Dave, I know you have a broken elbow and I just hit it. But are you kidding me?
Wow.
That is reminiscent of the play he made against UCLA back in November. Why is Chet Holmgren considered to be the #1 prospect in the country? You just saw it.
You did.
I mean, plain and simple, there are not players in the country that are his size that can grab the ball off the glass, bring it up in transition, find a seam, and attack the rim like that. That was impressive.
Wow.
Oh, my. Dave.
Well, you and I have talked about it a lot. We've had the Zags a lot. Zane Meeks here at the line, trying to earn a second free throw. No, Holmgren grabs another rebound. Last year's Gonzaga team was super special. And maybe this year's team's going to have a hard time living up to a team that came so close to a national championship. But the difference this year to last in this team's favor is Chet Holmgren.
Yeah, a rim protector, rim alterer at the defensive end of the floor.
Hunter Salas hits the three.
Here's the crazy thing, Dave. San Francisco has played an outstanding first half on their home floor. Outstanding.
You can't do that. With Holmgren in there, you just can't throw a lob. You can't get it high enough. Bolton, meanwhile.
That's a charge.
That is a charge.
But they're up 11.
Yeah.
Gonzaga's up 11. San Francisco, it's been seemingly a 1-possession, 2-possession game. It's been ultra fun to watch. And then all of a sudden you look up at the scoreboard and you go, man, it got to 11? But that's what the Zags can do to you.
I think USF playing most teams in college basketball the way they played this first half would be winning this game against almost anybody in the country.
This has been fun, though.
And it's a long way from being over. But it does feel like a big final minute. Bouye with Holmgren right there. Didn't shoot the layup. That shot was challenged by Timmy. Kunin offensive rebound. And then he threw it away. Hickman was right there.
First time he got away with it. Second time you're not going to get away with that. It's a careless pass.
Strother elevates, scores off the glass. Now the lead is 13. Dons can't quite hold for the final shot.
And they're not going to go 2 for 1, which is something normally he does. I mean, he has even said at times they will push it, take a shot, then foul to regain the next possession.
Bouye, Holmgren helps out and challenges him all the way to the bucket. Kunin gets it off. Three goes. Hickman heaves one up. That's no good. And for the Dons, a positive way to end a first half where they played really well and are still down 10.
Yeah, so impressive to see the way that Gonzaga has handled this environment, has handled the pressure, the disruption, the shot-making ability of San Francisco, and still built out a 10-point lead.
Gonzaga assistant Roger Powell is with Molly McGrath.
Thank you, Dave. Coach, Chet Holmgren takes it end-to-end for a momentum-changing play. What's your reaction to seeing plays like that?
You know, we told him before the game he needed to play aggressive this game. You know, last game he was a little tentative, and he's come out with the right mentality to attack him, to not fade away from the basket. And he's doing that, and that play was an example of it.
Yeah, it definitely was. How will you guys continue to control the pace in the second half when you know eventually they may switch things up on you on defense?
Well, you know, they're going to. I mean, he's a great coach. They do a great job, but we have to just keep playing with the thrust. We can't slow down and try to get ball screens. We got to go at them aggressively in transition and then take what they give us. And I think we've done a great job of that. But defensively, we got to take away their threes. That's the key of the game for the second half.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Dave, Sean.
Thank you, Molly. Roger Powell talking about the superstar freshman Chet Holmgren. Helps to have Holmgren.
Yeah, he's 12 points, 8 rebounds, multiple block shots, and one memorable play that makes the scouts just drool.
Halftime with Dallin and John. Take it away. Welcome back to ESPN's Road to Champ Week, presented by Wendy's. Great to have a big college basketball game in the city of San Francisco. That's what we got tonight in the WCC. Gonzaga with a 52-42 lead over the Dons of USF. Dave Fleming, Sean Farnham, Molly McGrath back with you. Sean, super entertaining first half. Dons played well. They're down 10. The Zags' power inside was something else.
Yeah, you know, it's got to be disheartening when you feel like you played so well, and then you look at the scoreboard and you're down 10, and it's really a pick your poison when you're taking on Gonzaga. Look, they were 7 of 10 from beyond the arc in the first half, but that's not what caught my attention. It's their ability to make and score points in the paint.
Yeah, it's our net gains, Sean, brought to you by SoFi.
58% of their points, Dave, have been in the paint. And what that does is it forces the defense to have to collapse, right? And if you choose not to collapse your defense and you choose to go one-on-one, what you're choosing is to give up 2 points. And that's, for San Francisco in the first half, what they didn't do. They didn't double team, and it allowed them to score.
Let's go over to Molly.
Yeah, I spoke with USF head coach Todd Golden, and they talked all about defense in their locker room. He said we need to do a better job with our ball pressure. We let them get too comfortable, and then they just went on a barrage of taking shots, and they made all of those shots. So hopefully they miss a couple shots in this second half, but he wants more intensity on defense. So look for them to apply some more pressure, but he said they feel like they're still in this game. He said these first 4 minutes are crucial, guys.
And I would agree with the USF head coach. Dons need a little burst of energy after playing really well most of the half and finding themselves down double figures. Jamari Bouye. Gabe Stefanini did not have much of an impact on this game. Almost traveled there. He'll shoot the 3. No good. Nembhard missed the second half of the first half of foul trouble. He's back in for Gonzaga.
And the fact that they were able to weather that storm and then actually extend out their lead says a lot about the depth of this Gonzaga Bulldogs team.
Holmgren got a hand on it, didn't come up with a rebound, but saved it for the Zags, and Nembhard knocks down a 3.
Starts the second half the same way he did on the first half. Knocked down a 3 on their first possession. Dials it up again. This first 4 minutes is going to be vital for how this game is going to go for San Francisco. That's a great move down here at this end of the floor, but they got to start getting some stops.
Masalski's bleeding. At some point, they're going to have to stop play and take care of that. I think Kevin Brill just noticed that. Masalski's got blood all over the place. Tough dude.
Officials timeout for injury.
And they'll get him cleaned up.
Yeah, they get a certain amount of time to try to clean it up. The guy who spent 4 years in this conference, but at the University of San Diego, was a good player, solid player, has really blossomed since coming here to the Hilltop.
And he's had 5 games of 20 or more points this season, including that contest against UAB where he had his season best. And he's a tough, physical interior guy, and that's something that this Dons team desperately needed to try to make this push to be an NCAA tournament team. And you're wrestling underneath, and ends up taking, I believe, an elbow right there from Chet Holmgren as he came down trying to grab that rebound.
So he got the bleeding stopped. Now he's got like a blood stain all down the right side of his face. He's okay to stay in the game with that. Drew Timme, I think he's jealous.
And I think they're sending him right back out.
Yeah. So now that they've tried and couldn't get it fully stopped, they may have to bring somebody else in the game. We'll see. Volodymyr Markovetsky's going to come in, the 7'2" transfer from Washington State, the native of Ukraine.
And Dave, obviously, with everything that's gone on in the last 24 plus hours, I asked him at shoot around, I said, how are you doing? And he said to me, listen, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. His entire family is in the western portion of the Ukraine. The airport in that area was completely destroyed. His dad is as a police officer, and if the fighting gets to that side of the country, he is going to be part of the conflict. He said his mom and his sister assured him that everything's okay. His sister's 11 years old. They sent him some videos afterwards of them doing some funny things to try to make him feel like everything is okay. But he was quite honest with me and says, my family's unsafe. It's hard for me to concentrate right now on basketball in this game tonight when I know my family's in danger.
Just impossible to imagine what that feels like. Wouldn't it be something if he could make an impact in his minutes on the court? Shot clock winding down. Shabazz has to heave one up. Holmgren blocked it right to the Dons bench, and that will be Gonzaga basketball as the shot clock expires.
He's going to check right back out of the game, but
Misalski's changed jerseys, now wearing number 34 to get rid of the one that had the blood all over it.
He told me, by the way, that he didn't sleep so much last night that after shoot-around today, he was going to try to go get a couple hours of sleep before the game. Todd Golden actually went on Facebook Messenger and was communicating with the family, trying to offer any kind of support for them.
Yeah, his mom was remarkably positive with the Dons head coach, saying they're still trying to follow what's going on here with their son and the Dons team. Stefanini, tough shot, no good. Holmgren, another rebound. He's very close now to a double-double. Nembhard, three, or Strother rather, three, no good. Well, Markovetsky, our thoughts are with him and with everybody. What a play by Shabazz. That would have been a basket the other way. Three, Stefanini, no good. He's had a really tough game. Just can't get it going.
And shot making has to be at a premium. I mean, the reality of it, when you're playing this Gonzaga team, you have to be near perfect. You really do.
Nembhard stepped under, top A, goaltender. Count the basket.
2 points for number 3, Andrew Nembhard. Number 10, Josh Coonan for Patrick Chape.
The rotation over, just a step slow. What a great footwork and step over by Nembhard.
He's got 10 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, even though he's missed a huge chunk of this game with foul trouble. When he's been out there, he's been outstanding. This is the biggest lead for the Zags, and the Dons, this is sort of go time here. They got to stay in touch. Shabazz, another tough shot.
This is not the start that Todd Golden would have wanted to see coming out of the locker room.
Nembhard on the attack, flips it up, draws a foul.
Early in that first half, we saw a lot of free throws being attempted by San Francisco. They were able to apply the pressure. They were able to push and create the tempo of the game and get to the free throw line. And it's what kept them in the game and allowed them to sustain the hot shooting that we saw in the first 20 minutes from the team from Spokane. But second half, it's been Gonzaga, and they can wear you out. I mean, because the weapons that they have and the number of guys in which they have and the way and the pace in which they play, it is hard to do it for 40 straight minutes.
Nembhard adds to the Zags' biggest lead. Not that time, missed that free throw. Bouye was kind of limping there. I don't know if something's going on. Jamari Bouye seems to be moving okay now. That's a pass that was deflected and a Dons turnover. Holmgren trying to get it to Timmy, and this time he will. Timmy, double team help came, draws a foul.
Now Drew Timmy bringing back out the handlebar mustache. That was something that he didn't have over the main part of the season. I spoke to him before the game. I said, what's the deal? And he goes, I got to see if it has its same magic, if it has its same flair that it had a year ago.
Timmy lob, Holmgren, what a great catch. Couldn't dunk it home, just came down, gathered himself, and used the backboard to get the bucket anyway.
Couldn't dunk it home because there's only one person in college basketball that could have caught that pass.
It would have been out of bounds if it had been anybody else. Here's Bouye. Zags have done a great job against him, making his move against Holmgren. Holmgren just swatted it away, went off the head of Bouye and out of bounds. Holmgren impacting every part of this game.
That was a 10-point lead at the start of the half. I told you the first 4 minutes were going to be important. Well, the Zags came out in a business-like approach and took care of business. They're up 19. Not a great pass. Good catch. Good finish.
Okay, fans.
Well, when you come here to the Hilltop and think about this Dons program, you just have to think first and foremost of arguably the greatest to ever play the game. I would say clearly the greatest defensive player in the history of the sport. Bill Russell won 2 national championships at USF, won 11 NBA championships, the greatest winner really in team sports history. And Chet Holmgren, he's got that knack. Bill Russell, we showed you some of those shot blocks, Sean, of he blocks shots and he keeps the ball in play. He leads to runouts for his team. He affects the shots that he doesn't block.
Yeah, I mean, it is a rare trait to have. You know, there's a lot of shot blockers that just try to swat the ball as hard as they possibly can, and often it ends up just being another shot opportunity for the team that got the shot blocked. But Chet Holmgren does an excellent job of blocking shots and then maintaining possession of the ball for his team. There's nobody better than Bill Russell at that.
Andrew Nembhard on the attack. Nembhard turned around, maybe didn't realize he was so open, came up a little bit short.
I hope Bill's watching this game. I mean, this program, to have this kind of atmosphere, to have it mean this much this late in the season, and so much of that is on the shoulders of Bill Russell and what he accomplished here.
Yeah, he should be very proud of his alma mater. Shabazz, that's a much needed bucket for USF.
The first 5 minutes of that second half so far, they were 1 of 8 for possessions. They scored on 1 possession out of the 8 possessions they've had, and it is really, really difficult to beat the #1 team in the country if that's what you're doing, because at their end of the floor, they have not slowed down one bit.
No, they're just playing the offense that we always see from them. Shabazz to answer. No. Holmgren snatches away the rebound. Holmgren on this end, down low, Drew Timme. Spin move with the left hand, no. Rishwain tracks it down. And so much of what Bill Russell talked about in his career was not just the actual blocks, but the psychological effect on opponents. Thinking you're there, every shot impacted.
What was the quote you had of Bill?
It is a great quote. Strother in the open court, offensive foul. Bill Russell said the idea is not to block every shot. The idea is to make your opponent believe you're going to block every shot. And sometimes when I watch Chet Holmgren, I believe that is absolutely the case.
He's got a double-double here tonight, 17 points now, 10 rebounds. But yeah, I mean, it's not just about the shots in which he alters. And you mentioned this in the first half. It's the way he impacts the game is unique, and defensively what he adds to Gonzaga is unlike anything they had a year ago.
Yeah, totally different. Well, a 3 goes down for Bouye. Dons are going to need a lot more of that. There goes Holmgren again. He'll go to the free throw line. He is a tough dude. You know, you look at him, he is willing to take contact. Even if the body doesn't always look like it. This was in the first half.
If you weren't watching the first half, the other thing is you continue to watch it, you get more amazed by the fact that he got the rebound, goes down, crosses over, breaks down the defense, sees the lane, attacks it, but he left from the WCC logo and he just glided with ease into the rim.
When you go watch old Bill Russell highlights on YouTube or wherever you want to find them online, I mean, you see the great Bill Russell do stuff like that. I mean, he was such an incredible athlete out in the open court. Maybe not quite the ball handler that Chet Holmgren is. His ball handling is remarkable. I told Chet today, I said, you know, you haven't seen a lot of Bill Russell. Take some time when you're on a road trip sitting in your hotel room. Pull it up on YouTube. I think it'd be worth his time. They're pretty fun to watch.
I enjoy going back and watching vintage NBA.
It's incredible. Rishwain 3, yes.
A product from Notre Dame High School in Sherman Oaks, California. Transferred in from Boston College, got his feet set underneath him. He can knock down the shot from the outside. Did that a bunch in his high school career. Played with Zaire Williams there.
Here's Salas along the baseline, missed it. So maybe a chance for the Dons to creep back in this game. Holmgren just scares everybody from going into the lane. If he's there, Shabazz and company go the other way.
They swerve out of the paint similar to how you swerve on your bike driving it here.
I don't think, by the way, he was just totally digging my idea of Chet's pretty happy with the way he plays, and he said he would go find some Bill Russell clips, watch him.
Nice.
Masalski against the shot blocker.
That was just a nice little fake. Like, he looked like it was going to be a handoff action, and Chet cheated just a little bit. That little cheat gave him the lane to the hoop and a good, strong finish.
Kunin was just hugging Holmgren. They called the foul.
And for USF, you know, it's been tough to find good baskets, but look, a little hesitation there. Chet's going to slide just a little bit and watch and think that's going to be handoff action. As he stands up out of his stance, that allows you to drop your shoulders lower, get by him, and be able to finish.
So Gonzaga ball, still up 14. Anton Watson in the game. He'll make his move into some traffic, got his own miss, and just whiffed on that one. Rushed it, I think.
The problem is, look how good the defensive transition is for Gonzaga. They get back and they don't let San Francisco get anything easy.
Shabazz lost it, hustled his way back, knocked it out of bounds. It hit the baseline. So that prevented the layup. Zags, though, will have the ball when we come back with 11:50 to go. Number one is up 14. Well, the first game up on Saturday. Huge day for college hoops on ESPN in the Big Ten. Number 4 Purdue against Michigan State. Noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, right after College Game Day on ESPN. It'll stream on the app. Purdue and Wisconsin at the moment tied a half game ahead of Illinois in the Big Ten standings. Cheerleaders will be there in East Lansing, we know.
Well, San Francisco has a great tradition of elite-level cheer squad members, including Deborah McGrath. Don't know if you know this, but that's the mother of Molly McGrath. She was part of the cheer squad here from 1972 to 1976, a nursing student here on the Hilltop. This picture is actually from when she was a cheer squad member. It was taken at Madison Square Garden. The history of the McGrath family here on the Hilltop is one that is elite, and glad that we could bring to light the many talents of Deborah McGrath.
I think Molly's mom is very proud that her daughter is here at USF. Yeah, USF, the history of the program, that was a golden era for USF basketball. They were excellent. Molly.
I can't believe you guys gave my mom a shout out. That was too nice of you. This absolutely probably made her night, and I'm running into all of her old friends here at USF, her old stomping grounds. And yeah, she was here during a really special time. I mean, you guys saw the picture, I think, of them at Madison Square Garden at the NIT tournament. When she was here, the Dons went to 2 Elite Eights, and she inspired me to be a cheerleader for Boston College. So definitely a special thing being here and where my mom went to school.
I'm just so glad you posted it on your Instagram, because that's where I stole the picture from.
Oy.
And I was like, we have to get this in.
It was
phenomenal.
Yeah,
imagine being in the 70s, being a student here.
Yeah, quite a time.
I mean, it was a good time in San Francisco, I'll tell you that. I've seen the documentaries.
Bill Cartwright was the star of that team. Man, what a nightmare game for Gabe Stefanini.
Oh my goodness, look
Holmgren in the open court. Holmgren all the way. That's a 7-footer. He's 19 years old.
And smooth in transition.
So smooth. Every game we see more and more eye-opening stuff from Chet Holmgren. Don's made a little run. Gonzaga has answered. Holmgren couldn't block that one. Rishwing will go to the free throw line.
And Chet Holmgren, and the way that he impacts the game, his level of aggressiveness, his ability to attack. He's got 21 points now, and second time in transition. He just looks so fluid, you know, and I think part of it, like early this season, at times he looked disjointed. And I think part of it's just feeling comfortable and confident, learning the difference in the game and understanding how to be successful and how he can utilize his skill set to impact the game. But he's been fantastic.
.73-56. Nemhard will get it to Holmgren. This time lost the ball. That's a turnover. Bouye, 3. No. They'll call the foul against Misolski. Molly?
San Francisco foul number 25.
Molly, what do you got on Chet?
Yeah, you guys were talking about his confidence. He told me just about right after Christmas, he felt like things really started to click for him. He felt more comfortable, especially in their system, and he felt like he was able to be efficient in everything that he does. And in addition to that, his teammates have been empowering him. Drew Timme is telling him, you know, if they're not guarding you from 3, you need to shoot as many threes as possible. We want you to take over games. So the support of the staff and as he shoots a 3, nope, miss. The support of his teammates, though, has really helped his confidence.
Misolski gave Holmgren a little taste of his own medicine. Rishwain, 3, yes!
To tie a bow on what Molly was saying, I equate that to a quarterback. So often we talk about the game being too fast. Sometimes once the game slows down, their efficiency goes up, their production goes up. In basketball, it's not all that different. It takes time for a freshman to understand how they have to play and what they have to do to be successful.
Nice move, Andrew Nemhard.
Use that offhand to create a little bit of space.
And Chet Holmgren, to Molly's point about encouraging him to take more threes in conference play, he's well over 50% from three-point range as a 7-footer, shooting a lot of them. Bouye, Nemhard's been tough on him. Misolski's not really a jump shooter. He took it. Not a great shot.
If you have to think that long to take the shot, you should not take the shot.
I think that's a good rule of thumb. Timme gets a touchdown low. Went back to the left hand. Strother got the rebound. Strother rejected by Misolski.
Look, no numbers back ever for San Francisco. We talk so much about the offense and how good Gonzaga is at the offensive end of the floor. Their defensive numbers have gotten silly, and a large part of that is because this has been a much more detail-oriented defensive unit for Mark Few.
Yeah, I agree. And then you got Holmgren, who did it again that time. He's just an eraser. Timme strong, missed the shot. Stefanini. That one finally goes down. And Todd Golden will take a timeout. Still got 8:16 left. And the Dons hanging around against Gonzaga, who's playing like the #1 team, 75-62.
To our media timeout.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's new hot honey chicken sandwich, also available on a biscuit for breakfast at participating U.S. Wendy's. Some of the great history. We talked about it tonight here on the Hilltop. Pete Newell, one of the greatest coaches of all time. Casey Jones, you could say that about him. 2-time national champion as a player, great NBA career, and an incredible coach. Bill Russell, truly one of the all-time greatest.
The NBA just did a top 75. You could have done the top 10, and Bill Russell's easily just sitting there chilling. And Bill Cartwright, a 3-time WCAC Player of the Year. He mentioned 1976 was the year Molly's mother stopped cheering here at USF. She got to cheer for Bill Cartwright as a player here. And, of course, went on and had an outstanding career in the NBA.
And that was the thing about the Dons program. I mean, Bill Russell and Casey Jones were here. They won those 2 national championships. They won 3 in the early years of college hoops. But then Bill and company came along, and they had another era of great success among the top programs in the country.
And you see right now the Dons are extending out their pressure. Part of the reason they're trying to extend out the pressure is actually trying to slow down Gonzaga. It's not to turn them over, but it's to slow them down and try to disrupt the rhythm. They go back from the pressure into the zone defense, which we anticipated them playing. The Zags do an excellent job of punching the gap. On ball reversal, they look to punch the gap and get a piece of the paint.
Watson to Timme in the paint with some contact. Man, he got whacked right in the face. There was no whistle. And Mark Few's going, how is that not a foul? He got walloped right in the nose.
I think they're going to review this. I don't think there's anything to review.
Well, will bring us to another timeout. 77-62. Mark Few not that happy. His star center's getting beat up on a little bit.
In Las Vegas, March 3rd through 8th. Capture all the action.
Bill Cartwright is courtside cheering on his Dons, but he told me he is amazed by the play of Chet Holmgren tonight. He used one word. He said, remarkable. He said, everyone looks at the fact that he's so skinny, but that is deceptive. He can shoot, he can handle the ball, he can do pretty much everything on the floor, and there is absolutely no one like him right now, so watching him up close is really special. And Sean and Dave, I know you guys have watched plenty of Chet Holmgren, and you agree.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, I haven't seen a player that can do the things that he can do. I've been covering college basketball, calling games at ESPN for 12 years. Before that, a 10-year period of time before that. I've never seen a player at the collegiate level come in and play the way that he can and way he impacts the game with the skill set that he has. It doesn't mean he doesn't have holes. Doesn't mean there's not going to be a growth process at the next level. But I'm appreciating him for what he's doing right now. And you look at those numbers. 5 block shots, 3 steals, 21 points on 11 shot attempts to go with 11 rebounds. I mean, he wins games. He is disruptive, and that doesn't even take into account how many shots he's altered in the paint.
Shabazz, tough contested 2. Strawther played good defense and got the defensive rebound on that possession. Well, I'm glad Molly went over and talked to Bill, because it's great perspective from an all-time, one of the great college players of all time, had a great NBA career, big man himself. In awe of young Chet Holmgren.
When I was growing up, I used to try to shoot that shot like Bill. I mean, Bill had that real high release.
Yeah. That's kind of what you picture when you think of Bill Cartwright. Drew Timme quietly has had another nice game. Rishwain flips it up and in. He's played pretty well.
Yeah, he has had a very solid second half. Couple real big shots, but if they're going to get back in this game for real, they need to get stops, and that has been too much to ask for all night long with one of the better defensive teams in the country. I mean, 21 in adjusted defensive efficiency, and they have really struggled to slow down at all.
Yeah, those defensive numbers, not a fluke. Masalski with the left hand. So that's how good Gonzaga's offense is. Timme. Shabazz gets called for the foul. Well, tomorrow, NBA Friday doubleheader starts at Madison Square Garden. You got the Knicks and the Heat. And then out west, Lakers Clippers. All starts with NBA Countdown 7 Eastern on ESPN.
Clippers have actually owned the Lakers in the last couple of seasons, had a ton of success against them.
He's shooting 1-1.
And Drew Timme, by the way, closing in on maybe a triple-double. And that's how good Chet Holmgren is that we start losing sight of what other guys are doing on the roster. He's got 14 points, 8 assists. I mean, 8 rebounds and 7 assists.
7 assists. And you spoke about it when we were talking about how hard it is to guard Gonzaga. Teams are reluctant, as good as he is down low, he's almost unstoppable down low. Teams are reluctant to double team him because he's become such a good passer.
Now, his complete skill set has shown up, and big game tonight. And this is a big road trip. I mean, look, you have a chance here to maybe have like a letdown type game. You won the conference, you celebrated on your home floor, you had all the pros back in the building. Killian Tilly was there, Jalen Suggs was there, and it was a great weekend up in Spokane last week against Santa Clara. And you could have been like, hey, you know what, we got St. Mary's coming up Saturday, and just maybe kind of come out a little lethargic. There was nothing lethargic. This is a business trip with a business mentality by the nation's #1 team, and it has played out that way so far tonight.
Holmgren hit the floor pretty hard, just making sure everything's all right. That right shoulder maybe a little stiff. He'll go to the free throw line.
Dave, how about this? You look at teams, and we get this time of year, we start talking about teams that can win it all. Right? Clearly, the #1 team in the country is a team that we can think might be able to win it all. 13 out of the last 15 national champions have ranked in the top 20 in offense and defensive efficiency. Right now, there's only 6 teams in the country that have those numbers. It's UCLA, Auburn, Houston, Baylor, Arizona, and Gonzaga. And Gonzaga is ranked number 2 on offense and number 6 on defense.
Pretty good formula. Pretty good way to pick your champion if you're thinking ahead.
I think a good sample size out of 15 years to kind of get an idea.
Yeah.
Marcus Spears with good hands. Our ESPN colleague here tonight.
Number 50, Gabe Stephanie.
There's the numbers we were talking about. Again, we talk so much about the offensive end of the floor, and with good reason. But man, what they're doing at the defensive end is a little bit more of a stronger buy-in this year, and it's been a buy-in that has started a little bit earlier for Mark Few, and I think that might be a little bit of a byproduct of that run last year when they played in the national championship game against against Baylor. And Baylor's defense was very different and unique, and by no stretch of the imagination is that's what Gonzaga is playing. But understanding of how important your defensive efficiency really is, and how disruptive you can be at that end of the floor, makes the world of difference. Ironically, Baylor's defensive efficiency last year was 22nd in the country. They're one of the 2 teams that fell out of those margins that I was talking about.
It's kind of hard to believe. Now the double team, Nembhard avoided the turnover, and Shabazz got smacked right in the face.
And he's bleeding. He's bleeding bad. They're going to have to stop this game.
Yeah. Loose ball. USF has it, and Khalil Shabazz is, literally blood's pouring out of his face, and Todd Golden is out on the court screaming at the officials. Wow, that's ugly. And Khalil Shabazz, hopefully he's all right.
And you saw it right away, and Shabazz's mother is actually on the floor right now as well, and that's not a good situation. No. She needs to get off the floor, and I understand that, but the officials can go back, they can look at it. But that was a hard hit.
I mean, they've allowed this game to be physical. Just took a punch.
And that was a clear elbow. And I will tell you this, on the rip through, you can say it's incidental contact as he's just trying to rip through. But if the elbow is out and is parallel to the ground and not perpendicular, they should award a stiffer penalty here and add a flagrant foul there.
So we'll get word from Rick O'Neal. Sean's talking to one of the officials about that.
I just asked the official the same thing I just said to you. The parallel action versus the perpendicular action of the elbow has to come into play here. By the rules and the way that they tell us of how this is adjudicated, this should be upgraded.
Oh, man.
It looks like it's his nose.
I think he may well have broken his nose. It looked to be a direct shot.
His mom is standing up behind us right now, and obviously you're looking at a player that has meant so much to this program. We talked about becoming a 1,000-point scorer and everything that he has accomplished here, what he means, and an intense game. Do I think it was malicious? Do I think it was on purpose? No, but these type of things happen, and what I will tell you, that rip through with the elbow like that, it has to be upgraded.
Well, they're still talking about it. They've taken a couple looks. They've had a consultation. They're still looking. So they're now talking to both coaches.
A reminder, and we were talking about this, intent does not matter when you're making contact above the shoulders to the head.
Ladies and gentlemen, a flagrant foul has been charged.
And they have
to number 3, Andrew Nembhard of Gonzaga. That's his 3rd. Third team foul on behalf of the
And it is an F1 flagrant one. So, you know, again, I think it's 100% the correct call.
The substitute for
Doesn't mean it was a malicious play.
No. The free throws for him.
So Shabazz is back in the locker room, so he's not going to be the one to shoot free throws.
Right.
So you have to find a substitute off the bench. Josh Coonan's going to be that player.
2 shots.
And Molly did a little quick investigating. It is the nose. That's what we guessed for Khalil Shabazz. 4:32 to go. Every point left out there for the Dons makes it tougher already. Very tough to imagine a comeback win. And Josh Coonan didn't come close on either of those. Man.
David, is interesting in these moments, right? Like, it's a gut check moment right now. You got 4:32. You're looking up at the #1 team in the country. Your running mate, if you're Jamari Bouye, just went to the locker room. It's go time if you're #1. This is your moment. You've got to step up. You're a senior. Use that energy, channel that energy to be ultra aggressive.
He found his teammate Masalski. Another block for Holmgren. I think that's 6.
I'd like to see Bouye just start asserting himself as far as taking shots.
Yeah, Holmgren asserting himself. Misses the 3. Lob. Masalski scores.
From Stefanini.
They got to stop.
Nembhard, tough shot. Well short. Bouye out of the open. Jamari Bouye not going to slow down all the way to the bucket.
And that's what he needed to do. And it's going to be a timeout quickly by Todd Golden. And just love the level of aggressiveness by Jabari Bouye.
Can Bouye and the Dons make one more push? 3:31. It's been a great year for college basketball out west. Pac-12 with teams that are national championship contenders. Mountain West having a really good year. The WCC potentially an historic year. You and I will be in Las Vegas. Molly will be there too for the WCC tournament. Man, there will be a lot at stake. The guys were talking about BYU. USF definitely still has to make a good impression at the end of the year.
I think that when you look at what this conference has done, and out of conference, their success, some of the great quality wins that they had from top to bottom. You know, Santa Clara is a couple injuries away, by the way, from probably being in the discussion point too. And Herb Sendek has done a great job. This has been the best year in West Coast Conference history. And they've had 3 teams in the NCAA tournament, 2 times officially. I would have said the third in 2020 was guaranteed. They all would have been in home uniforms that year when you talk about BYU, St. Mary's, and Gonzaga. But this year, 4 is still a possibility. 3 is likely.
Rishwain, tough 3. He's given the Dons a real boost. Lead is 10. Now we're under 3 minutes to go. Todd Golden telling Gabe Stefanini no fouls. Nembhard attacks and draws a foul anyway. Since we're talking about West Coast hoops, isn't it about time we get the Final Four back out in the Western region? It's been a little while.
Arizona was the last venue to have it. That was, of course, in 2017 when the Gonzaga Bulldogs and Oregon were both in the Final Four.
Yeah, it makes a difference. Yep.
2 shots.
Nembhard at the free throw line. Dons have done a good job hanging in there. Gonzaga, these are tough games on the road here tonight at USF, in Moraga against St. Mary's on Saturday night. It's a great way for the Zags to get tested late in the season. Bouye against Bolton. Bouye, no. Tip up, no. Holmgren rebound.
Todd Golden is adamant about wanting a foul call on those drives. He only had 1 field goal since the 7:02 mark for the Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Still up by 12 with 2 minutes to go. Stefanini got a hand on it. Shot clock winding down. Nembhard to Timmy. That's perfect for the Zags. Take all the time and get a bucket anyway. Bolton deserves some credit the way he's guarded Jamari Bouye. Good pass. Masalski rejected. They do blow the whistle. Holmgren can't believe it. I think actually USF would rather they just let him play on because Masalski was about to lay it in. Now he's got to go to the free throw line. Incredible block again. How many is that for Holmgren? 7 tonight.
But they didn't count it because it's a foul.
So they got him even on the first one. It wasn't the second action that drew the foul.
Which, by the way, I don't agree with. I mean, there have been some fouls in some other situations that I would say, okay, maybe Todd Golden. Even when there is a foul call, it actually works against Todd Golden.
It does.
Right? I mean, because he put it back in.
He did. He misses both free throws. So Holmgren doesn't get credit for the block, but it saves the Zags a couple points. Final minute and a half. The USF's going to come up short. Gonzaga is going to have a really good, tough road win.
And I hope somehow, some way that Shabazz can get back into this game because I'd hate to see his final home game here end with him on the floor bleeding.
Yeah, no kidding. Loose ball knocked away.
I mean, if the medical team can even get him out here for the final 30 seconds, you give him that final 30 seconds. He's had an illustrious career that has been so impactful and has put San Francisco on the precipice of making the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1998.
Masalski trying to muscle his way in. Tip ball. Zags come away with it. Timmy is going to be fouled, but the Zags fans who are here, and there are always Zags fans everywhere their Gonzaga team goes, are starting to celebrate.
That's his 5th personal foul. The 10th team foul of the half on the Dons.
Well, Sunday doubleheader in the American, 12:30 Eastern. Number 14 Houston looking to avenge its loss against SMU. Then Wichita State and Memphis, both games on ESPN. A couple Sunday college games worth watching. We'll stream on the app.
American, one of those conferences that Memphis has looked good at times and struggled at times, and a little inconsistency. You know, when you start looking at teams on that bubble, teams that are towards the bottom half of Joe Lunardi's bracket, it is really hard to start dissecting those numbers. You have to do a deep dive to see the difference between them.
Well, what do you think? UNI will be in Moraga across the bay on Saturday night. St. Mary's gave the Zags a game up in Spokane. Can they do it again?
Yes, they can. Stylistically, how they play, Tommy Kuzi, his shot making has been so vastly improved that I think that it will be a lot of fun. It'll be an electric atmosphere. I'm ready for it. Look out. Frustration for Todd Golden and USF. I will say this. I look at the entire of the resume, and I think San Francisco deserves to be an NCAA tournament team this year. And they're going to come up short here tonight. But this team has the look of being a tournament team.
Shot clock is off.
And the problem is they ran into a team that's not just a tournament team, but it's a team that could win a national championship.
Zags just keep passing every test. This is a very good USF team. And Gonzaga took care of business tonight. On the road, USF came out totally ready to play, making shots. Big crowd, loud crowd. In the end, 16-point victory for the Zags.
Just a very workmanlike approach. And one of the things we asked Mark Few is, what will this game show you? And he goes, it will be a test of our competitive spirit. And it's late February. We have to be physically and mentally tougher. And tonight, that is exactly what the Gonzaga Bulldogs were. And it's why they were able to find a way to win this game on the road.
Hey, Timmy had a big game. Chet Holmgren, 21 points, 15 rebounds, 6 blocks, 3 steals. The freshman was just amazing again.
Yeah, he just impacts the game in so many different ways, Dave. There's nothing he can't do out on the floor, in particular at the college game. Altering shots, blocking shots, creating in the fast break. It was multiple times. That play was just silly, but the steals, his length and how disruptive, and his ability to move his feet to disrupt and make guards feel uncomfortable. He does all of those things, and to me, that's what makes him so dynamic, and his continued improvement and maturation, even over this freshman season, has been sensational.
You know, it's a good point, because Jabari Bouye, he's one of the better finishers for a guard in all of college basketball. By the end of this game, he was reluctant to go inside. He wasn't even shooting the ball.
It stopped, change direction, just get away from him because his length is so disruptive, and that overshadows what is a near triple-double for Drew Timme. All he had was 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists. That's it. That's all he had. I mean, it's unbelievable. You look at Nembhard with 17 points, 6 assists. Strother with 15. Just the balance in which the Zags get, it's night in, night out.
All right, let's go over to Molly real quick with Chet Holmgren. Molly?
Chet, I have to ask you about one of the plays of the game. In the first half, you had a rebound in transition dunk. What was going through your mind on a play like that? That's like an SC top 10 kind of play.
Yeah, just trying to make a play for my team that, affects winning. I grabbed the rebound. I saw my guy on the side of me, so I just pushed it as fast as I could. And, I got in front of him, and the lane opened up, so, I just took it home.
And you grabbed Rozier to come talk to me, too. What's it like to watch him do what he does? Because it seems like he can do everything on the floor.
It's amazing every time I see it. Sometimes you just kind of stand back and watch and be like, wow. So, when he makes those plays, we just got to let him be who he is.
All right. Congrats, guys. Thanks so much. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Molly. Thanks to both of those, Rozier Bolton and Chet Holmgren, part of the #1 team in college basketball. Another win for the Zags tonight here in San Francisco. For Tom Schofield, our producer, for Mike Griffin, our director, for Molly McGrath, for Sean Farnham, Dave Fleming saying so long. Time to get you to USC and Oregon State.